everyone, in this video we will learn a few things about Tchaikovsky Symphony No.6. It is impossible to talk about this symphony without relating it to Tchaikovsky's death because he died only a few days after the premiere of this piece. And the audience are already questioning about the meaning of this interesting work. His unexpected death caused a huge sensation and controversy in the music community. Tchaikovsky was homosexual, and at the time in Russia, homosexuality was not acceptable. And to make things worse, his lover was actually his own nephew. So there was a lot of pressure for him to fit into the social norm already, but he also had a lot of inner conflict to deal with his true feelings and his own self with the whole love situation. And it is believed to be that this was the cause of his suicide. However, in recent years, a lot of musicologists dispute this suicide theory because there is not enough scientific or historic factual evidences to support or prove this theory. We will never know what the actual cause of his death was because it happened in the past, and you know, how do we know? But it is undeniable that this symphony captures Tchaikovsky's inner voices and true emotions at the time. Musically, Tchaikovsky built his fame with ballet music, and one of the skills that he developed from composing ballet music was his ability to compose unforgettable and beautiful melodic lines, and he brings that skill, he applies that skill to his symphonic writing as well. So this symphony is full of beautiful melodic lines. The first movement opens with a bassoon solo, which is not very common. In my knowledge, there are two famous bassoon solo openings in orchestral literature. One is this symphony, and the other one is the Rite of Spring by Stravinsky. And I think they are related because Stravinsky actually attended the memorial service/concert of Tchaikovsky's death, which was actually the second performance of this piece. So yeah, and Stravinsky's Rite of Spring is also about foreshadowing death and social pressure. So I think there is definitely a correlation to these two bassoon solo openings, but it's just my guess. So yeah, but please let me know if you know any other piece that starts with the bassoon solo opening that I should be knowing. Yeah, anyways, so the first movement starts like that, and then the second theme is so beautiful. It's like one of the most beautiful moments of Tchaikovsky, I think. But from the opening of the first movement in the symphony, it is very obvious that the composer wants to take us, the audience, to a very personal and emotional place throughout this work. And we move to the second movement, which is a waltz. Waltz is a dance rhythm in 3/4 meter, so 1 2 3 1 2 3. However, Tchaikovsky picked 5/4 meter for his waltz in this movement. 5/4 meter is a complex meter, meaning it cannot be divided by 2 or 3, and it is not a natural or intuitive rhythm. So this rhythm is a little tricky and weird to deal with, both as a composer or as a performer. But Tchaikovsky did a fantastic job utilizing this meter in the waltz form or waltz rhythm, and this movement is flawless, and it flows beautifully, it sings naturally, and it's very sweet, lovely, and delightful movement. And the third movement is a march, but rather than being a militaristic or aggressive march, it's more like an elementary school kids at the zoo on their field trip, being excited, that kind of march. So it's very youthful, playful, hopeful, optimistic movement. But at the end of this movement, Tchaikovsky brings in the orchestra with a full force, creating undeniable sense of finale, undeniable sense of ending. So if you didn't know anything about this piece prior to listening to it, you'd think that the piece is done by the time that you get to the end of the third movement. Theoretically, a symphony has 4 movements, and the 4th movement is the finale movement. But in this symphony, the 4th movement is a little unique and it doesn't function as the typical finale movement. So Tchaikovsky gives us the finale at the end of the 3rd movement, and we move on to the 4th movement. The 4th movement starts with this incredible string outburst, which feels like a heart being squeezed in very painful way, and there's no way out, and you just have to sit on the pain. That's what it feels like to me. But it's very powerful and emotional statement. And then throughout the movement, it just gets worse and worse. Tchaikovsky takes us to the darker and weaker places of our emotions and our hearts, and at the end he sonically depicts what death would be like. You know, the orchestra breathes in and out of its last breath with less and less energy and life, and at the end it just releases all the energy that is left to the orchestra's sound, and it truly feels like death. It feels like nothing's left. And in fact, after the premiere performance of this piece, Tchaikovsky complained to his friends about the reaction from the audience because he thought the applause wasn't loud enough and there was no eagerness about the symphony after the performance. But it turned out that it's not that the audiences didn't like the piece, it was just it's impossible to outburst into applause after you listen to this piece. And even in modern days, when the performance is done right and well, the audience feels very reluctant to start to clap and applause. This symphony has a power that leads the audience to bring the energy towards themselves and like reflect back into their emotions rather than think about the performance or the symphony. So yeah, that's Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 6, and I wanted to introduce this symphony because I know there's a lot of struggle between life and death and anxiety and uncertainty and the stress all over the world because of the pandemic of COVID-19, and I thought this piece would be a great piece to let us experience how classical music can be an outlet for our emotions and how classical music can be still relatable to our modern day lives. And I hope this video helps to enhance your listening experience so that you can get comfort and encouragement and emotional resolution by listening to this music. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!